Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is December 5th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see we've got a decaying system moving on the west coast of North America. What it's doing is providing some high clouds, trying to reduce a little bit of that fog formation in some of the valley areas, but not much to write home weather-wise. However, it does look like we will go through some sort of a pattern change as we go towards mid-December here. And I'll show you the latest on that here as we go through the video this morning. Right now, this is what's looking at infrared satellite imagery. And you can kind of see the marine layer across Southern California. And we're trying to pick up to see how much fog is going on across the valley areas. And you can see it doesn't look like too much. And what these mid-level and high-level clouds can do is help to reduce some of that radiational cooling. So the surface in some of those valley areas does not quite cool quite as much. And then you don't get such a dense fog development. So that's the benefit to these clouds here. Now, of course, we are pretty quiet right now. We don't have any storm reports to look at here across California, Nevada, or Arizona. This is Sacramento, and they are talking about the upcoming forecast here. And you see there's not much precipitation in here, but once we get off into next week, we do have the chance for some systems to roll in here. And we'll look at that here in a moment. But first things first, looking at relative humidity, you can see as we go through this morning here, you can kind of see the low relative humidities across some of the valley areas. And again, we might go through this foggy forecast here as we go through Friday morning and potentially Saturday morning upcoming here yet again. So we're going to be in this regime as we go through the upcoming weekend. But then you can see as we go through a Saturday afternoon or so, Saturday evening, you can see there's going to be a frontal system that starts to move across the Pacific Northwest, might be spreading some clouds our way. We'll see how that goes here, but it shouldn't mean too much for California. It could clip some of the northern portions there eventually. But if we look at wind speed, this is the North American model, high resolution look at things. And as we go on into, this is about this afternoon here, and you can see we start to pick up the winds a little bit out of the north across some of the desert areas, Las Vegas, portions of western Arizona. And you can also see this offshore flow coming across the Sierra Nevada. It could be a little bit gusty in some of the gaps in the terrain there. And as we go on into towards Friday, you'll see this pick up a bit here across the Sierra Nevada especially. And again, the north winds coming down across some of the southern Sierra Nevada and kind of out of the northeast here for some of Southern California. So you got to watch out for that as we go through Friday night on into Saturday morning. Some gusty winds out there, but otherwise not too much going on. If we take a look at daily 2-meter max temperature, we're going to scroll through here and you can see nothing too crazy coming up as we go through next week. A little bit of a cooling trend coming up. And again, I'll show you what is showing in some of the weather models here in a moment. Here's daily 2-meter minimum temperatures here, and you can see some of the nighttime temperatures cooling off fairly well and into the early morning hours as we go on in through next week. Now, if we take a wider look at things here, Hawaiian Islands bottom left, what we have here on the left is the European Artificial Intelligence model. This is 6-hour precipitation type and mean sea level pressure. It shows you where the storm systems are and where some of the high pressure is and whatnot, and when the precipitation may arrive. And we've got the USA model here on the right, the GFS, Global Forecast System. So if we put this into motion, there goes that system I talked about for the Pacific Northwest, just clipping northern portions of California on both models there. And then we get a little bit, some cold air dropping down across the Intermountain West. Doesn't look like it's going to bring much precipitation on the backside of that for California. Then we scroll off into the extended forecast and you can see things start to change up a little bit here as we go through next week. Another system here, a little bit of difference between the European and the GFS there. But as you can see, as we scroll off in towards the end of next week, we start to bring a fairly robust system, a pretty striking model agreement there. But of course, this is a ways out. We're looking at almost 200 hours out at this point, and then we continue off into the future. You can kind of see how this pattern change is showing up in some of the weather models. So we have that to look forward to. But right now, we are still dealing with fantasy forecasts. We're kind of grasping at straws, trying to see when this pattern change may occur here, and we start to get some more active weather down into California. And it might happen, honestly, as we go through the mid portion of December. This is looking fairly promising, although it is still a ways out there. But you can see the experimental National Weather Service product does talk about risk of heavy precipitation, and they did include some of Central and Northern California in that as we go through the mid-period of December. Also, you'll notice the risk heavy snow goes down and extends across the Sierra Nevada, and check this out, wind. So they are paying attention, and they do see that potential for a return to some more active weather here across some of the west coast of North America. We'll continue to watch that on a daily basis, though. Here's the 6 to 10 day. This was updated yesterday. Pacific Northwest starting to get in the action here, but you can see still that below normal across a lot of the southwest. However, as we roll on in towards the 8 to 14 day, you can see California is now included in that, some of that above average here. So that is definitely something to be watching. It'll be interesting to see as we get closer what starts to trend and what doesn't, and hopefully we can get some systems back down in here into the state of California and maybe include Southern California at times. But yeah, otherwise, we will break this all down again tomorrow. We'll take a look at what's coming. We'll try to time that next pattern change off through the extended forecast. Hope you guys are having a good day. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.